What's happening, everybody? How you doing? This is Pablo from Wrestling Rehab. Welcome. We're going to break down briefly this Money in the Bank that just happened 2022. Thank you for joining in. For those of you new to the channel, this is Wrestling Rehab. We are a new channel done by the incredible Javier, the Cholo Trucker, and Big Pablo from LA Times Podcast. We got together, started this channel. We're doing it on our own, but now we decided to go pro. Hey, thank you for tuning in, by the way. So let's break down this card, guys. Before we do, take a second to subscribe, take a second to like and share this video. Share this channel, man. We're going to be doing it weekly. We're going to be breaking down all kinds of stuff with AEW, Vince McMahon, Raw, SmackDown, you name it. So thank you for stopping in. Let's start off, man. We're not going to go in no particular order, but I want to start off with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Shotzi, Asuka, and Becky Lynch. They went at it. The winner, whoever gets the suitcase on top of the ladder, gets 1 year to trade it in for a chance at the champion, at the women's champion. Right now, that being Ronda Rousey or Bianca Belair. So they went at it in this match. It was a pretty good match overall. People were yelling in the audience, this is awesome, this is awesome. And that's mostly because of the work of Shotzi, Raquel Rodriguez, Becky Lynch, and Asuka. I mean, they did phenomenal. The rest of the crew was just kind of there outside the most of the time. They would come in here and there. But, man, these four, Raquel Rodriguez, Shotzi, Asuka, and Becky Lynch, they just carried this match. They made it awesome, man. Like I said, man, ultimately, it ended up at the end of the fight. It ended up being Becky Lynch going up against Liv Morgan. And Liv Morgan was out most of the fight, just in the sidelines. She didn't contribute much, but she ended up getting the win, throwing Becky Lynch off the ladder, grabbing the suitcase. And she has now an opportunity. She has 1 year to turn in that suitcase for a chance at the championship. Anytime, any place, any match of her choosing. So that was pretty interesting, So more on that later. We got a little surprise about that if you haven't watched it. And there will be spoilers here, so be careful. We're not going to go in no particular order, but I want to just briefly break down these matches for you. For the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair versus Carmella. It was a pretty good fight, I got to say. Carmella's coming in a long way. Her wrestling's gotten much better. She plays to the crowd. You either love her or hate her. There's no in between with Carmella. And just listening to the commentators and bagging on Saxton, that's classic. Bianca Belair, man, what could you say, man? She's so muscular. She's like as muscular as her husband, so strong. And she dominated most of the match, but Carmella held her own. Held her own really. And I gotta say, man, her wrestling was pretty smooth. Surprisingly, like I said, she's come a long way. Bianca Belair gets the win, gets a clean win. And pins Carmella 1, 2, 3. And then after the match, as Bianca is celebrating with her Raw Championship, she jumped from behind by Carmella, beat down pretty good. And what do you know, man? It is, I think this rivalry is going to continue. So it was interesting that Carmella got the call up for this match because everybody thought it would be somebody else. But I think it was the right pick to give Carmella. Carmella has heat, and she definitely brings emotions. Either love or hate. And ain't that the point? The next match we're going to talk about is Bobby Lashley versus Theory. Man, Theory I used to hate. I used to hate Theory so much. He just came in and just rubbed me the wrong way. And I thought, oh, man, they're investing in the wrong guy. But, I'm going to eat my words right here because Theory has now become one of my favorites. Bobby Lashley is also one of my favorites. They fought for the United States Championship. Theory, man, kind of like Carmella, he rubs you the wrong way. You either love him or hate him, man. I'm starting to like the guy a lot. So they go in, a pretty good match. Bobby Lashley pretty much throws him around a lot. The second half, Theory kind of comes back, has a few close calls. But ultimately, Bobby Lashley gets the win and becomes a new United States Championship. Theory goes out heartbroken. And obviously, this is Mr. McMahon's boy, so it's not going to be the end of it, man. So Bobby celebrating. The crowd goes wild. The crowd's really growing. on Bobby Lashley. They're really starting to like him a lot. So it's pretty interesting, Really interesting. And excuse me if my voice is a little dry today, guys. It's about 1 a.m. almost, and it's been a long day. So just trying to break it down and give you guys some content in case you haven't heard, and come together and see if our thoughts agree. The other fight that I want to break down really quick is the Usos versus the Street Profits. Undisputed Tag Team Championship. The Usos have this Raw and SmackDown Championship. They're double champs. They're going in there. They had a good showing on SmackDown, a good little trash talk against each other. But ultimately, in this fight, man, if you watched it, even the people I was watching with, it was kind of a boring fight, I would say. But it could be that they're not used to the Usos. The Usos kind of like, they're not high paced. They're kind of just walk around and they hit you and you're on the floor, and they talk to the audience and they talk smack to their opponents. And it's kind of a slow match, where the Street Profits are fast paced. So the Street Profits definitely had to slow down for this match. But nonetheless, the Usos are over, they're so over. And even though they're slow paced, what they're doing when they're catering to the audience and throwing up the one and we the ones and all that, it's definitely brings the crowd involved. So the crowd is not bored, even though it's a slow show. It may seem slow on TV. If you rewatch it, you'll be like, wow, this is a pretty slow paced match. But nonetheless, the Usos get the win, keep the championships. And it was a controversial finish because the Street Profits shoulder, it was not down all the way. It was not pinned, but nonetheless, the ref called it 1, 2, 3. It's kind of late, so I'm sure on Raw Monday, July 4th, I'm sure we'll be touching base on that. I'm sure we'll hear more from their complaint, and we'll see how that goes. Just a little tidbit, and the side note is that the Usos' younger brother, who's in NXT, is supposed to be called up soon, supposedly to join the Bloodline. We'll see how that goes. It might be interesting, The next match we're going to talk about is Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. Man, it was an okay fight. It was an okay fight. The SmackDown Women's Championship. Ronda comes out, looking mean. Natalya comes out with her smiling, flamboyant. I don't know about her outfit. She's kind of a bigger girl. I'm a big guy, but she's getting kind of big, and some of the stuff she's wearing, it kind of don't match. But nonetheless, man, Natalya's a legend. She's a heart, and yeah, what are you going to say, man? So Natalya carried most of this match, doing most of the arm drags, the arm throws, submission attempts. She's the veteran. She's one of the people who trained Ronda along with Kurt Angle. So, to see her carry most of the match, you could say the crowd. I don't know if the crowd was so into it. I think, there's my take, I don't think the crowd's giving up on Ronda Rousey. I don't think they're over enthused in Ronda Rousey. Don't get me wrong. But I also think that Natalya teamed up with Shayna. The crowd's been seeing them lose a lot in SmackDown and Raw. And, they haven't built her up to superstardom, like she was before. So they've been seeing her lose in the tag teams, this and that. And so now they put her in the main event against Ronda, and people are supposed to be excited after she's been losing for months, with her partner. So it's just kind of one of those things. I don't think the crowd was so into it. This is probably the match where the crowd was the quietest, and they would play to the crowd. Natalya was really good at playing to the crowd like the Usos. But again, I don't think the crowd was just into it. Ultimately, Ronda Rousey causes Natalya to tap out and lose. And it was interesting, some of the moves that they did, and some of the submission attempts was pretty cool. Bret Hart's moves, Kurt Angle's moves. Yeah, so it was really neat. It was really neat to me. Not the best match. I actually think Bianca and Carmella's match was better. But nonetheless, it is what it is. And Ronda went on to win. But here's the trick, guys, and spoiler right here, man. So Ronda hurt her knee during the match. And Natalya heard it, threw her out of the ring. Ronda could barely walk. She couldn't put no weight on it. So as Ronda won and got the submission attempt, she couldn't stand up in the ring. She couldn't stand up. She's trying to grab the rope. Next thing you know, as she's trying to stand, Liv Morgan's music hits. Liv Morgan earlier in the night just won the Money in the Bank 2022. She just won. It's a suitcase. She could cash it in anytime. She chose to cash it in as Ronda Rousey was hurt. So here she comes in the ring. She gives her suitcase to the ref. She wants to cash in her Money in the Bank. She says, start the match. Boom, boom, boom. They start the match. Ronda starts beating her down, pretty much gets her in a submission. But Liv Morgan does a back kick, hits Ronda on her back knee, which is a little too much. Ronda's in pain. Liv Morgan goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Liv Morgan, new SmackDown Women's Championship. Insane. The crowd loved it. It was pretty cool. The crowd came alive because they were kind of asleep during the Ronda Natalya match. So Ronda, even though she beat Natalya, her leg was hurt. Liv Morgan came down, cashed in her Money in the Bank. She becomes a new champion on SmackDown, and it's kind of needed because SmackDown's women's division has been kind of weak due to Charlotte being out due to getting married, and then Naomi and Sasha Banks possibly gone for good. We don't know. I know they're trying to work it out and get them back, but so it's kind of like it's a little dry on SmackDown. So Liv Morgan moving over might give it a shot in the arm it needs. I'm not the biggest Liv Morgan fan, but it could be a shot in the arm for SmackDown. They definitely need to mix stuff up because it's getting kind of boring over there when they're advertising their main events as a New Day. That man, it's just they're grasping at straws, man. They're grasping in the air and looking for something. So congratulations to Liv Morgan. And the final match we're going to talk about is the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The winner of this match will have 1 year to turn in their suitcase to challenge either the Raw or SmackDown champion, which they're both held by Roman Reigns right now. We got 1 year to challenge the champion, and any time, any place, any match, any night. And so that's what it is. It gives you, so you could do what Liv Morgan did and wait for somebody to get hurt, come in, and boom, kind of like Big E did to Bobby Lashley. So here we go. This match: Seth freaking Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Almost, Sami Zayn, Riddle, and Madcap Moss. They're all in there. They all come out. They do their entrances, come to the ring. I love Sami Zayn, by the way, man. That guy makes me laugh. And then I know the Cholo Trucker's not going to like that one. But anyways, they come to the ring, and what do you know? What do you know? Out comes the general manager and says, hey, we're going to add one more person to this match. This is Las Vegas, he says. So you have 7 men in there. So I'm going to see your 7, and I'm going to up you 1 to 8. So he said, we're going to add one more person to this match. So he goes, the person I'm going to add is Theory. So out comes Theory. He had just lost earlier. And yeah, man, it's incredible. Theory comes out. They kind of like pull what they did with Brock Lesnar, how he lost the other match but came out and won the Royal Rumble. They kind of did that thing. So Theory comes out. Now they're all in the ring. And here we go. They're all fighting. And it's really a pretty good match, I got to say, man. Seth Rollins, man, he's always incredible. No matter what he does, he's an entertainer. And Drew McIntyre did great. He was in there fighting, being tough. Looked really mean, man. He looked like he was dead serious. Sheamus, man, might be the MVP of this match. He did some moves, some hits, some kicks. Oh my gosh. Sheamus was on fire today, man. He was out there to prove that he still has it, man. And Sheamus, he did good. Almost was out there again looking mean. He got teamed up on by everybody, and then they all threw about 10, 15 ladders on the dude when he was down, knocked out, and everybody threw a ladder on him. And, a lot of bumps. Sami Zayn, man, like him or hate him, man, he did phenomenal in this match. There was times you thought he was going to win and he was going to protect his tribal chief as an honorary Uso locker room leader. And so it was great. Riddle did good, obviously, and it's incredible. Riddle, he's always trying to fight Almost, or he'll fight anybody. And Madcap Moss did great too. But ultimately, in the end, and everything is written, everything was said, the winner of the 2022 Men's Money in the Bank ladder match, the person who won, is Theory, the last-minute entrant. He won, and he will be has 1 year to cash that in. And right now it's going to be interesting what he does, because we got some match coming up with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, the end of July. That should be interesting. So if Brock wins and has the title, celebrating Theory could come out and they're all both beat up, or Roman wins and and he's all beat up, whatever, and he could come out and take it. Or it could happen at the Castle, Clash at the Castle. It's supposed to be Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. We'll see. So it's interesting, man. It's an interesting things that went on. So just recapping, just Bianca Belair won over Carmella for the Raw Women's Championship, which is a better fight than most expected. The Usos versus the Street Profits for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. The Usos won. It was a slow match, but it was okay. It was okay. It was the what the Usos do, man. So let's not complain too much, right? Theory versus Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship. Bobby Lashley won, and a pretty good match. People were excited. He's the new champion of the United States Championship, which is good. They're giving an A-lister star one of the underbelts, and that brings up the belt. So when Bobby loses it, whoever gets it, they'll probably give it to a young guy, and it would be great, man. So again, Ronda Rousey versus Natalya for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey won. I'm sorry. Natalya made her tap out, but Liv Morgan, the winner of the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, came in, cashed in her suitcase when Ronda Rousey was hurt after the match, was celebrating somewhat, trying to stand up, came out, gave the ref and cashed in her Money in the Bank, gave the suitcase, and beat Ronda Rousey 1-2-3 to become the new SmackDown's Women's Championship. Incredible. The fans were loving it. They were yelling, "You deserve it." And it was pretty exciting. And lastly, the winner of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match was Theory, or formerly Austin Theory. So it's interesting what's going to happen with him. What's next? Who's he going to cash it in on? Are they finally going to get the belt off Theory? I don't know. I think as long as off of Roman Reigns, I think as long as Vince McMahon's alive and in charge, he's going to want Roman to be champion. But with Stephanie in the helm now, you never know. Stuff could change. There's a lot of stuff coming, investigations and all that. So we'll see what happens, man. But nonetheless, man, we wanted to break this down to you. And if you're listening from out of state, out of the country, we broadcast from the Los Angeles area. So as you can see, some of our slang, some of our talk, you'll hear a West Coast vibe in it. So that's us, man. We're one of the few over here doing it. And we just want to thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting us. Continue to support this channel. We're new. We're doing it. We're starting from scratch. We're not putting money in advertising. We're doing it the old-fashioned way, man. We're going to build it up brick by brick. And again, this is Big Pablo, and we're signing out for Wrestling Rehab. I hope you become one of our junkies and hit the thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and don't forget, check the videos down there. There's a video coming right now of Cholo Trucker's breakdown on the Hulk Hogan and Hulk Hogan and a lot of stuff going on, man. So just thanks for again stopping in. Have a good one. Take care. God bless.